Hi everyone, I'm Claire from Susan's family. Today I'll teach you how to make a moon rabbit toy. This toy consists of the main part and accessories. Let's start with the main part. For making the main part, please refer to the separate video tutorial on the plain body. After completing it, we'll make the accessories. The accessories include facial features, hair, dress, pants, apron, hat and shoes. Please watch as I demonstrate the specific making method. Let's start with the facial features. It includes the nose, mouth, eyes, blush and ears. First, let's make the nose. Find the increase placement in R13. This is where the head has a slight bulge. There are 6 single crochets between the increases on each side. Mark the 4th stitch from left to right with a pin. Then cut a length of the remaining yarn strand from the head. Pull out 3 strands and thread them through the sewing needle. Secure it by weaving in a few times at any position on the head first. Be mindful not to expose the yarn tail. Then sew 2 circles around the marked single crochet position. Be careful not to pull it too tight. You can use the needle to slightly loosen the yarn tail. This will make the nose more three-dimensional. After completing, weave the thread through a few stitches randomly on the head. Trim off any excess yarn tails. The nose is now done. Next, determine the placement for the eyes. Count upwards from the round where the nose is. In the middle of the second round, there are 4 single crochets. Mark both sides of these stitches. There should be 4 single crochets between the 2 eyes. Each eye will cover 4 single crochets. Mark them properly as well. Now let's move on to making the eyes. Take a piece of black yarn. Pull out 2 strands. Thread it into the needle. Insert it from any position at the back of the head. Exit in the middle of the right side of the eye mark. Then insert it again at the upper left corner of the left mark. Then exit at the lower right corner of the 3rd stitch on the right side. Slightly tighten. Pay attention to curve the eye slightly. Next, insert it again after skipping 2 stitches. Exit at the position of the left eye. Make sure to exit at the upper right corner of the circle. Slightly tighten. This will create a slight overlap under the eye. Secure it with glue. That's how you make one eye. Make the other eye symmetrically using the same method. Finally, weave the yarn tail to the back. After securely fastening the eyes, trim any excess yarn tails. That completes the eyes. Next, sew the mouth. Cut a piece of red yarn. Thread one strand onto the needle. First, secure it with a few stitches on the head. Then locate the space 2 rounds below the nose for the single crochets. Below the single crochet corresponding to the second round. So to create this curve, then exit from any position at the back of the head. Don't pull the yarn tail too tight. Adjust the corner arc slightly. Secure the remaining strands by weaving through a few times in any spot on the head. That finishes the mouth. Next, apply blush 2 rounds below the eyes. The exact position can also be determined based on your preference. Finally, crochet the ears. Let's take a look at the finished product. There are 2 ears. Both use the magic ring technique. The new stitch used is T-half double crochet. Please watch me demonstrate the specific crocheting method. Crochet using the remaining yarn tail from the head. First, leave a 10 cm tail, and start with an adjustable magic ring. Chain 1 as the beginning chain. Then, work 1 single crochet into the center of the magic ring. Follow with 2 half double crochets. Let's start with the first stitch. Yarn over once. Insert the hook. Draw the yarn through. There are 3 loops on the hook. Yarn over and draw through all loops in one motion. 1 half double crochet is now completed. Move on to the second stitch. Yarn over. Insert the hook. Draw the yarn through. Yarn over and draw through all loops again. Another half double crochet is now completed. Work 1 single crochet. Then make a slip stitch into the starting magic ring. Chain 1 to secure. Stretch the loop. Leave a 10 cm tail, then cut the yarn. Gently tighten. Close the magic ring slightly. One ear is now crocheted. The other ear can be crocheted using the same method. Next, attach the ears to the head. Thread the longer yarn tail into a yarn needle. Make sure the right side of the ear faces forward. Align the top edge with the circle of single crochets below the eyes. Keep a distance of 3 single crochets from the outer corner of the eye. Find the corresponding position along the bottom of the ear. Sew it to the matching position on the head using whip stitches. After sewing, tie a double knot. Hide the yarn tail inside the head. Also hide the other yarn tail inside the head. One ear is now sewn on. Follow the same method to symmetrically sew the other ear. Remember, when sewing, keep the right side facing forward. Look everyone, this is what the sample looks like after the ears are sewn on. Attach a star decoration below the ear. Make sure to have the corresponding corner facing outward. This way, the decoration on the ear is attached properly. Up to this point, the method for making facial features has been explained. Next, we will make the hair. It consists of two parts, the scalp and the hair strands. Let's start with learning how to crochet the scalp. The scalp begins with a magic ring. Crochet in rounds counterclockwise. Please watch as I demonstrate the specific crocheting method. Start with a magic ring. Then crochet the first round. Begin with one chain stitch as the starting chain. Not crocheting in spirals. At the beginning of each round, make a turning chain. The turning chain for single crochet does not count as a stitch. Next, work 8 single crochets into the magic ring. After completing, tighten the magic ring. Then, on the first single crochet stitch, finish with a slip stitch. That is, crochet at the second braid, on the left side of the yarn tail. First braid. Second braid, this big braid. If you really can't tell, you can also count back from the last stitch. First stitch, second stitch, third stitch, fourth stitch, fifth stitch, sixth stitch, seventh stitch, eighth stitch. It's still this stitch. Crochet a slip stitch. Pull tight. The slip stitch is not indicated in the form. In practice, when not crocheting in spirals, always finish by joining with a slip stitch and pull tight. This prevents crocheting too many stitches later. That's how you complete the first round. Now move on to the second round. For this round, crochet into the front loop of each stitch only. Start with one chain stitch. Pick up the front loop of the stitch closest to you. Work one single crochet increase. The starting tail is at the back, leave it for now. Continue by picking the front loop of the adjacent stitch on the left. Work single crochet increases evenly. After completing, you can check the stitch count. Then join with a slip stitch to the first stitch. That is, at the first large braid, on the left side of the opening. Pull tight. The second round is completed. The texture on the right side is clear. The texture on the wrong side is blurry. There is a row of small horizontal lines. The starting tail follows the texture and is woven into the right side of the fabric piece. This completes the scalp. After completing the scalp, move on to crochet the hair strands. The hair strands have 2 layers. The first layer is crocheted in the second round of the scalp. The second layer is crocheted into the remaining half stitches of the first round of the scalp. In the chart, F represents double crochet. Please watch as I demonstrate the specific crochet method. Start with the first strand of the first layer. Continue crocheting using the same yarn from the scalp. Refer to steps 1 through 3 in the table. This means strands 1 to 3. All are crocheted using the same method. For any similar format encountered later, the meaning will be the same as this. Let's start with the first strand. Begin with 20 chain stitches. Dow 2. This indicates starting in second CH from the hook. Count backward from the side of the hook. First stitch. Second stitch. This is Dow 2. Insert the hook into the strand above the second to last chain stitch. Work 1 slip stitch. Then pick up the strand above the adjacent chain stitch on the left. Work 1 single crochet. Next, work 1 half double crochet into the left chain stitch. Then work 13 double crochets. Let's start with the first stitch. Begin with an incomplete double crochet. Yarn over again, and draw through the 2 loops on hook. 1 double crochet is now completed. Next, work the second double crochet. Yarn over. Insert the hook. Draw the yarn through. Yarn over again. Draw through the first 2 loops on the hook. Repeat this 2 more times. Once. Twice. Double crochet completed. Continue to finish the remaining 11 double crochets. Then work 1 half double crochet and 2 single crochets. Next, on the left side of the head, work 1 slip stitch in the adjacent stitch. Pull tight. The first strand is now finished. The method for the second strand is identical to the first one. Since the first 2 strands are crocheted in the same position. After completing, work 1 slip stitch in the same position as the slip stitch of the first strand. The second strand is now finished. Continue with the third strand. Refer to the form and start by crocheting the corresponding amount of chain stitches. Then, from the second to last chain stitch, work the corresponding stitch pattern. After finishing, on the adjacent stitch, work 1 slip stitch. Pull tight. The third strand is now completed. The crocheting method for the following strands is similar to that of the third strand. Pay attention and refer to the form to crochet the corresponding stitches. Each strand corresponds to 1 stitch. Always pick up from the slip stitch position of the previous strand. Join with a slip stitch on the adjacent stitch on the left side. Everyone can refer to the previous demonstration and the table. Finish crocheting the first 9 strands. For the 10th strand, crochet 1 chain stitch. Then, work 1 slip stitch on the corresponding stitch on the left side. This strand is now completed. Continue crocheting the strands using the same method as before. Complete this round. After finishing the last strand, end with a slip stitch at the starting position of the first strand. This is what the first layer of strands looks like when completed. Now continue to crochet the second layer of strands. Make sure the right side of the piece is facing you. Locate the remaining half stitch from the first round. That is, find the corresponding small horizontal bar below. Work 1 slip stitch. The slip stitch doesn't need to be pulled tight. This brings the yarn to the position for the second layer of strands. Refer to the chart. Each small horizontal line corresponds to crocheting 1 strand. The method is the same as for the first layer of strands. Everyone, refer to the chart and the previous demonstration. Crochet them all the way down. Look, this is what the second layer of strands looks like when completed. Finally, leave a 5 cm tail and cut the yarn. Hook the yarn tail to the right side of the strand. Conceal it along the texture. That concludes the explanation of the strands. Next, attach the hair to the top of the head. Place the right side of the scalp facing the top of the head. This means the second layer of strands will be on top. Align the center position of the scalp with the middle of the top of the head. The gap with 1 chain stitch from the first layer of strands should face the center of the face. Position the longer strands behind the ears. Secure them with pins. Place the short strands from the back of the first layer close to the head. Hold them in place. Take these 2 short strands from the second layer. Position them between the 2 long strands of the first layer. Place the long strands of the second layer close to the ears. Secure them with pins. Glue them in place for a more secure hold. After completing, twist the remaining part of the long strands clockwise together. Form a braid like this. Then take the remaining short strands from the first layer at the front. Divide them according to the gap positions. Curl the ends of the hair and glue them onto the corresponding positions on the cheeks and forehead. Take the remaining short strands from the second layer. Tidy them up along the first layer to create a fluffy shape. Glue the ends of these strands to the corresponding positions on the first layer. Everyone, take a look. This is what the completed hair looks like after it's been secured. Up to this point, the method for making the hair has been fully explained. Next, we will make the dress. The dress is divided into 3 parts, the main part of the dress, the sleeves, and the decorations. Let's start by learning the crocheting method. For the main part of the dress, use the chain ring method to begin, then crochet in rounds. Make sure to leave space for the sleeve cap while crocheting. In the chart, FV stands for double crochet increase. Please watch as I demonstrate the specific crocheting method. The starting instruction is 30ch, join with a slip stitch to form a circle. This means you should start with 30 chain stitches. Next, crochet a slip stitch into the first stitch. To form a circle with the chain stitches, start by making a foundation chain. Hang the yarn tail on your left hand. Position the hook underneath the yarn. Wrap the yarn counterclockwise. Pinch the crossing point of the loop with your left hand. Put the hook on the left side of the yarn. Yarn over. Draw the yarn through. This slip knot does not count as a stitch. Tighten the yarn tail. Adjust the size of the loop on your hook. Continue by crocheting 30 chain stitches. Then slip stitch into the first chain stitch. Pay attention. Make sure the foundation chain does not twist. You can ensure all the chains are facing up. Align the beginning and ending like this. The starting yarn tail is here. Place it above the ending yarn tail. Insert the hook from the outside to the inside through the back loop of the first stitch. Work 1 slip stitch. Pull tight. Gently pull the starting yarn tail. After completing, check again to ensure the foundation chain is not twisted. It forms a flat circle. That completes the starting round. Move on to crochet the first round. Chain 1 as the turning chain. Then pick up the top loop of the corresponding chain below. Work 1 single crochet. As you go, tighten the starting yarn tail. Continue to the next stitch, working 1 single crochet in each stitch. Insert the hook into the top loop of the chain and work a single crochet. Crochet all the way around to complete the round. After finishing, join with a slip stitch to the first single crochet. Pull tight. The first round is now completed. Continue to crochet the second round. In this round, you need to leave space for the sleeve cap. Chain 1 to begin. Then work 4 single crochets. Next, make 2 chain stitches. Skip the next 7 stitches on the left side. Work 1 single crochet in the 8th stitch. Continue with 2 more single crochets. Work 1 single crochet increase. Then work 4 more single crochets. After completing, make 2 chain stitches. Skip the next 7 stitches. Start from the 8th stitch and work 4 single crochets evenly. When finished, join with a slip stitch to the first single crochet. Pull tight. The second round is completed. These 2 chain positions form the sleeve cap like this. For the third round, crochet single crochets without increasing or decreasing. Crochet until you reach the chain position. Pick up the strand above the chain stitch. Work 1 single crochet for each stitch, matching them up. Continue all the way down to complete them. After finishing, join with a slip stitch. Pull tight. The third round is completed. For rounds 4 through 10, crochet single crochets without increasing or decreasing. Be mindful not to forget, at the beginning and end of each round, make the turning chain and slip stitch join. The method is relatively simple. Everyone can finish these rounds on their own. I'll demonstrate the crochet technique for the 11th round using this sample swatch. Start with 3 chain stitches as the turning chain. This counts as 1 double crochet. It corresponds to the single crochet below. Next, pick up the adjacent single crochet on the left side. Pay attention and make sure you don't choose the wrong position. Work 1 double crochet increase. That means crocheting 2 double crochets in this position. 1 double crochet. 2 double crochets. The double crochet increase is completed. Next, work 2 double crochets. Then, work 1 double crochet increase. Treat these 2 double crochets and 1 double crochet increase as one group of stitches. Continue repeating this group of stitches downward. At the end, there will be 1 stitch remaining. Work 1 double crochet into it. Join it with the starting turning chain. It's exactly 2 double crochets on the third chain of the turning chain. Pick up these 2 strands and join with a slip stitch. Pull tight. The 11th round is now completed. Continue to the 12th round. Start with 3 chain stitches as the turning chain. This counts as 1 double crochet. Match it with the corresponding starting stitch below. Then, insert the hook into the adjacent stitch on the left. Work 1 double crochet. Be mindful not to pick the wrong position. Continue with 1 double crochet. Then make 1 double crochet increase. The pattern for this round of crochet is repeating 3 double crochets and 1 double crochet increase. Finish this round. After completing the last double crochet increase, join with a slip stitch into the turning chain. Pull tight. Round 12 is now completed. The crocheting method for the remaining rounds of the dress main part is relatively simple. Just follow the chart instructions in order. After finishing the last double crochet, my swatch has fewer stitches and rounds for demonstration purposes only. It's just to show the technique. Enlarge the loop. Leave about 10 centimeters of yarn tail. Cut off. Thread the yarn tail into a darning needle. Insert the needle through the 3rd chain from the beginning, and pull both strands of yarn through. Then, insert it through the middle of the last stitch. Gently pull to tighten. You can see that after securing the yarn tail this way, there are no obvious marks on the surface. The texture looks much neater. Secure the remaining yarn tail on the wrong side of the fabric. This completes the main part of the dress. Next, we will sew on the sleeves. Cut a piece of the same color yarn used for the body. Pull 1 strand through and insert it into the sewing needle. Then cut a piece of elastic lace about 6 centimeters long. One end is the elastic tool. The other end is the pleated satin ribbon. Align the sides of the lace. Make sure the right side faces out. Slightly overlap them. Insert the sewing needle through the overlapping position of the elastic thread. Leave a section of tail at the end. Sew along the overlapping position downward. When you reach the pleated satin ribbon part, move the lace trim up to the top. The ribbon overlaps by about 1 centimeter. Sew downward along the edge. After finishing, sew back along the other side of the edge. Continue until you reach the elastic thread position. That's it, one sleeve is now sewn. Next, sew the sleeve onto the main part of the dress. Take out the main part of the dress. In my sample swatch, there are fewer rounds. Just demonstrating the method, align the opening on the sleeve's elastic side with the armhole. Pay attention to matching the sewing position with the underarm. Follow this circle of the elastic thread. Sew it together with the single crochets of the armhole. After finishing this circle, once done, tie a double knot with the beginning and ending yarn tails. Hide the yarn tails. Trim off any excess. Hide the other yarn tail on your own. This sleeve is now attached. Follow the same method to make and attach the other sleeve. Next, add decorations to the dress, including lace trim, flower lace, tassel chains, pearl pendants, and flowers with bows. Please watch me demonstrate the specific making method. First, sew the lace trim on the inside of the hem. Find the side of the dress with slip stitch marks. This will be the back of the dress. Take this wider piece of lace trim. The difference between the right and wrong sides is not very obvious. One side of the lace has this pattern. The other side is a ribbon. Place the right side of the dress facing you, with the hem pointing upwards. Start from the slip stitch join position. Follow the edge between the lace trim and the pattern. Sew it to the wrong side of the last round of double crochets on the hem. Cut a piece of thread, in the same color as the lace. Pull out one strand and thread it into the sewing needle. Bring the needle out from the corresponding position. Leave a section of yarn tail at the end. Pay attention while sewing. Make sure the yarn tail doesn't go through to the right side of the fabric. As you sew, fold a small pleat along the edge. The exact number and width of the pleats are not fixed. Adjust according to your preference as you sew this round. Be mindful while sewing. Try to make the pleats as even in size as possible. Keep them going in the same direction. Once done, cut off the excess lace trim. Save the remaining lace for later use. Sew a few more stitches at the end to secure it in place. Tie a double knot with the beginning and ending yarn tails. Weave in the yarn tails on your own. The lace trim is now sewn on. Next, we will sew the flower lace. Cut a length of the same color thread as the foot part. Pull out one strand and insert it into the sewing needle. Then take the flower lace. You can see that the texture of the flowers on the right side is clear. The texture on the wrong side is blurry. Place the lace with the right side facing up. The waves underneath the flowers should face the dress hem. Start from the joining position of the dress. Sew along the 5th round of double crochets, from the top on the right side. Leave a section of yarn tail at the starting position. Follow the flowers above. Sew them onto the corresponding fabric piece. Adjust the position as you sew. Make sure not to sew crooked. Ensure the lace trim sticks closely and neatly to the fabric. Finish sewing this round. Cut off any excess yarn after completion. Tie the beginning and ending tails with a double knot. Weave in the ends by yourself. The flower lace is now sewn on. Next, attach the tassel chain. Find the middle of the front side of the dress. Start sewing the tassel chain at the corresponding position of the flower lace. Cut a piece of yarn that matches the lace color. Pull out one strand and insert it into a sewing needle of appropriate size. First, insert the needle from the inside to the outside at the corresponding position. Leave a section of yarn tail at the end. Then, take the tassel chain and fold it in half. Adjust it a little. Stagger the 2 small beads at the folded position. Insert the chain at this position into the sewing needle. Sew 1 stitch here to secure it in place. Next, at the corresponding position of a circle of double crochets below where the tassel chain is sewn, sew on a pearl pendant. Insert the needle into this position. Thread on a pearl pendant. Then add another pearl. Sew 2 stitches at this position to fix it securely. Then carry the yarn across inside the fabric piece. Leave an interval of about 5 centimeters. Come out at the corresponding position of this flower lace. For these 2 tassel chains, one is separated by 2 beads. And the other is separated by 3 beads. Insert each corresponding chain into the sewing needle. Sew 2 stitches to secure it. Then, at the corresponding position below, sew on a pearl pendant and a pearl. Mindfully adjust the position of the pearl. Make sure the pearl is above the pendant. Continue below following this method. Carry the yarn across inside the fabric piece. Every 5 centimeters, sew on the tassel chain. These 2 tassel chains, one has an interval of 2 beads, and the other has an interval of 3 beads. Then at the bottom of this circle, sew on the pearl pendant and a pearl. After finishing this circle, finally, sew the tassel chain at the starting position. Once completed, cut off any excess. Bring the yarn tail to the wrong side of the dress. Tie a double knot with the beginning and ending tails. Weave in the ends on your own. Next, at the tassel chain sewing position, glue on a flower. The method is quite simple. Everyone can glue the remaining flowers by themselves. Up next, make a double layered bow. Cut a ribbon about 30 centimeters long. Leave a length of around 4 centimeters. Gently pinch it with your left thumb and ring finger. Hold the other end with your right hand. Wrap it twice around your index and middle fingers. Note that the length of one loop of the ribbon will be the width of the finished bow. Next, pass it through between your index and middle fingers. Use your thumb to press down on the ribbon over your middle finger. Pass it through the circle from underneath. Slightly tighten. Slip it off your fingers. Tighten the middle. Make sure the knot is in the middle position. The side facing you is the wrong side. Flip it to the right side. Adjust the shape of the bow. And trim the ribbons beginning and ending. After completing, you can lightly singe the edges with fire. To prevent fraying. Pay attention to safety. Don't burn your hands. The double layer bow is now completed. Attach an acrylic flower in the middle of the bow. Then take the bow and glue it onto the corresponding position of the first round on the front side of the dress. Continue making 2 more bows below using the same method, and attach them individually to the corresponding positions on the sleeves. This completes the explanation of the dressmaking method.